So hello and welcome to this demonstration of DataViadotto 2.0, a next-generation entity relationship profiler that not only automatically mines various kinds of uniqueness constraints and inclusion dependencies, but also provides an interface and methodology for users to understand which of the mined rules are meaningful and not just accidental. For that purpose, we aim for high-quality mining results that are not obscured by many false positives and incomplete due to false negatives. The panel on the left shows the menu where we can connect to existing databases or can also upload CSV files for mining. Here we use the well-known TPC-H benchmark with 8 tables. The biggest table is line item and it has over 4.4 million records. Strong feature of our profiler provides many dedicated ways to identify entities and relationships that actually contain null values. So in the Finder panel, users can enter different parameters that determine the results and efficiency of the mining process. We typically recommend finding keys first and then use them to mine foreign keys later. So let's first select all the TPC-H tables because we want to mine them all in parallel for all keys. So this is selecting them. And then we go to advanced settings. And we will select as the null semantics possible because that represents SQL unique constraints, but we do set the completeness threshold to 100%, saying that no key column must have null in them. That means we're actually mining candidate keys. So mining unique constraints and inclusion dependency is computationally hard in the arity, which is why users can select the maximum arity in here. In practice, most meaningful constraints have not more than 3 columns, but there's obviously exceptions. Increasing the maximum arity may have a strong impact on the number of results and the time to obtain them. We also select 10% dirtiness in here and set the level of orthogonality to 1 and then start the mining process. Main novel feature is to improve the mining results by eliminating false positives and negatives. The latter is achieved by approximating mining using non-zero dirtiness and referring to the maximum percentage of records that need removal to obtain a valid key. And the separation of false from true positives has actually not been addressed before. For that, we introduce a novel statistical measure of orthogonality that quantifies the level of anti-correlation between subsets of unique column combinations. You can see here that we've mined 51 keys in just 20 seconds. And to show the impact of the orthogonality, we increase this level now to 9, which is the strongest, and then we mine the keys again. Meaningful keys typically exhibit orthogonality, while accidental keys do not. Moreover, higher levels of orthogonality lead to faster mining, which is often necessary to eliminate huge numbers of false positives when approximate mining is required. In this sense, orthogonality improves precision, while approximation improves recall. So we can see on this example how higher orthogonality leads to fewer results and faster mining, but what about the actual quality of the results? For that, we go into the browser menu and look at the keys that we've mined. A quick inspection shows that all the primary keys are included in the output, but also several meaningful other keys. Mining does not use the names of the columns and only relies on the given instances, not their schema. Keys that include column comment um, are, of course, not meaningful, so they still represent false positives. However, validating 25 keys, or in this example, just 19, is much simpler than validating over probably 500 keys that would be returned in about 2 minutes time without the use of orthogonality. An interesting key is shown in here as the L order key and L part key, which is different from the primary key on the schema. And we can analyze the composite key further um, by going into the data sample panel. Here we can see firstly that this is a minimal key because there's duplicates on the individual columns. It's also meaningful because there shouldn't be a part listed several times under the same order. For that, we actually have an attribute called quantity that says how many times the same part has been included in the same order. So this is an example of the general methodology we apply to facilitate the user's understanding which constraints govern entity and referential integrity in their data. We're running out of time, but we can have a quick glimpse at the foreign key mining results. And you can see here we recover actually all foreign keys that are enforced on the schema. And there are just a few false positives which are impossible to distinguish from true positives without looking at their meaning in the schema as well. So, for example, from customer to part, of course. So there's lots of more scenarios that we will cover in the actual demonstration, but we hope that this has given you a sneak preview of the features available in our tool. Thank you for watching.